The fight between Gogeta Blue and Broly was awesome, especially watching it in cinemas. But I wonder how many people watched that fight and really understood what was going on. It was a visual spectacle with colors flying everywhere and explosions and powerful punches. But what was really happening in that fight? And what was Gogeta Blue's strategy to detaining and defeating Broly? Because believe it or not, there was a strategy here. And if you look within the surface of the fight, you can see it. So on this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how Gogeta Blue beat Broly and give you a play-by-play on what the strategy was, what worked, what did not work to suppress the uncontrollable monster that was Broly. Smash that like button and let's go.
So what we'll be calling on is good old-fashioned blunt force trauma. Horsepower.
Let's go back to Dragon Ball Super Broly and talk about Gogeta Blue versus Broly. So Broly was out of control. It wasn't that he was a bad guy or anything, but he was completely out of control and complete rage, and the entire Earth, no, the entire universe was at risk of imploding at the power of Broly. So Goku and Vegeta felt like they had no choice, really mostly Goku, but to fuse with the Metamorph fusion and make Gogeta, and thus the final battle of the movie began, a visual spectacle animated by some of Toei's best. But how did Gogeta Blue beat Broly? Well, there was an actual strategy here. First and foremost, you have to understand that Gogeta Blue's goal was to stop Broly from rampaging. So when the fight first started, Gogeta did not go automatically into Blue. The power level of the two had progressed higher and higher and higher until finally they cracked the dimensional fabric and went into an alternate universe or an alternate dimension. And it was within that world that they were able to go into their most powerful forms. For Broly, it would have been full power Broly, huge, jacked, muscular, and out of control. And then we have Gogeta Blue, who was a bit more calm and focused on trying to take out Broly. Now, the majority of this fight, if you notice what's going on, is that Gogeta is trying to stop Broly using ki attacks. There are several times in this fight that Gogeta uses ki against Broly. Once they emerge from that alternate dimension, the battle continues on the ground, and it's here that Gogeta is still using ki attacks to try to nullify Broly, but everything he throws at Broly, Broly's just coming back and coming and coming and coming. Now, Gogeta Blue at no point in this fight was really at risk of losing to Broly. It was just more so a matter of trying to control him because his power could have had very dangerous circumstances on the world, and Broly kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. His power level kept going higher and higher and higher as he fought, which is something Vegeta even mentioned earlier in the movie about how Broly learns and improves as he fights. So Gogeta Blue had to figure out a way to beat this guy. So after using tons of different energy attacks, including one where he's just firing tons of clusters of ki, and then finally does the legendary Stardust Breaker, the Soul Punisher, which I did do a technique guide on breaking down that move, Broly still comes back with a huge, incredible scream, and he's still in this fight, and Gogeta's like, damn, what can we do to stop this guy? We need to put him down, knock him out before someone gets hurt. So it is at this point that the strategy for Gogeta changes. Now, what was Gogeta doing before then? Well, like I said, lots of ki attacks, lots of energy attacks against Broly. That was not working. Why was it not working? Because Broly is a fighter that protrudes energy from every pore of his body. Broly is a very unique character in that his rage gives him power. And when he has rage, there's just constant energy flowing out of his body. Not going to say it's endless, but Broly's supply of energy is, let's just say, very, very, very high. The dude can just spew energy out of everywhere. And so because of that, Gogeta realized that energy was not going to work on Broly, at least from an exterior perspective. But what about from an interior perspective? What if they could figure out a way to nullify Broly from the inside out? And that is when the strategy kicked in.
Heavy duty, cast iron, pile driving punches that will have to hurt so much they'll rattle his ancestors.
The first thing Gogeta did was switch from long range attacks to up close inside power punches to the gut that would rattle Broly's ancestors. That's right. Blunt force trauma like in Rocky 6. They wanted to hit Broly with power punches that are going to hurt him as opposed to doing long range. How would they do that? They have to get on the inside. First and foremost, Gogeta did that awesome move where he skidded around Broly's energy to punch Broly. And we see this numerous times where Gogeta comes in several different scenes with huge punches where Gogeta's putting all of his energy into these humongous shots to Broly's gut, to Broly's face, but mostly working over the body. Now, for those who don't know anything about fighting, in the real world, the body is a very crucial part where you want to hit somebody. Yes, you can knock them out in the face, but the body's where all your vital organs are, like your liver, for example, and things like that. And the liver punches are said to be the most painful shots you can take in any form of combat sport.
Every time you hit him with his shot, it's got to feel like he tried kissing the express train. Let's start building some hurting bombs.
But Gogeta's sitting here pounding Broly's stomach, just hitting him with these huge shots where he's cocking all the way back with tremendous amounts of energy, and he hits him over and over and over again. Why is Gogeta doing this? Why is Gogeta utilizing this strategy? Like I said, energy attacks are not going to work on Broly the way that this is going to work. So after Gogeta delivers a number of shots to Broly to where he feels confident that Broly's, I guess, solar plexus, his gut, his his midsection is injured enough, Gogeta moves in for the final victory. Now, I do believe this was done on purpose as a throwback or a tribute to the original Broly movie, how Goku was able to punch Broly in the gut to beat him. So I think it was similar to that. But nonetheless, what ends up happening is Gogeta, after delivering several shots to Broly's midsection, weakening it enough to utilize a maneuver called the Stardust Exploder. Now, the Stardust Exploder is the technique that defeated Broly. Gogeta puts his arms forward in a cross position, then puts his arms up. Now, before he does the Stardust Exploder, he first does like a flip kick, like what Guile would do in Street Fighter, like a backflip kick to knock Broly up. And that's the perfect setup for this big move, the Stardust Explorer. Now, what does this move do? Well, I might do a technique guide on it later on, but basically this move utilizes ki from the inside of Broly. Gogeta is able to manipulate the particles from Broly's midsection to explode from the inside out. So if you watch the scene, you see the explosions happening from the inside out. So he somehow manages to actually blast Broly by manipulating energy right into that specific spot in the center of Broly's body to rattle him. Then shortly after this, Whis himself says that this fight is coming to an end. He knew that was it. And that was the move that beat Broly. So as Gogeta sets up the final Kamehameha, we knew this would be the end of Broly. And then, of course, Chi-Lai makes the wish to warp him back to Vampa, and he is spared. But if you notice, right before the Kamehameha hits, they show a close-up of Broly's face, and his pupils are now back. Remember, when Broly was raging out, he had no pupils. Now all of a sudden he has pupils. That's because Broly was out of his rage form. He was powering down. He was losing energy at a rapid rate. You want to know why? Because Gogeta put the hurting bombs on him and then finished with the Stardust Exploder, which is really what beat Broly. It was not the Kamehameha. That is the move that gave Gogeta the victory and saved the planet from Broly's madness. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this breakdown of how Gogeta actually beat Broly. Go back and watch the movie and you'll see that I'm right. Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. Try and give you the best Dragon Ball content out there, and check these videos out as well.